Hey there, Castlebrook. This is Mr. Corrigal, and this is the last for the OSSLT prep for 2015. The focus of this video is the graphic text. Let's get started. Before I start, this is a resource put together by an organization called EduGains. EduGains tells us the graphic text forms, some of the different things we can expect to see in a graphic text. So what we know is that a graphic text, while it does have text, it also incorporates a lot of the things we see perhaps in science class, math class, geography class, such as diagrams, maps, graphs, charts. There will be photos, there will be tables. We see here that sometimes a graphic text will provide legends or keys or tables of contents. In that case, it's very important to read the table of contents and try to figure out what those tables of contents or keys or legends refer to in the graphic text. And we'll see that in just a second. Also very important to notice the print features, especially font size. Most of the other readings on the OSSLT contain a single font size. However, the graphic text will have different sizes of font, different types of font. There will be titles and headings, subheadings, bullets, and so forth. Also the captions and labels, we also have to know what those are. When we see text located in a smaller box perhaps, that would be called a caption. Further, there may also be lines in a graphic text. There will not be color in this point, in this thing. We have to keep in mind the focal point of a graphic text. We need to know where our eyes are being drawn, and the placement of some of the things will dictate the importance of the feature. So these are this is the vocabulary of graphic text. If it doesn't make sense now, hopefully it will when we see some examples. Let's check out some examples. This is a nice resource because it provides several examples over the past years, plural, of graphic texts. One of the reasons why it's hard to teach and study for a graphic text is there's kind of a variety of things that may be given to you. So you can see, I'm not sure which year this is from, but I remember this one. This is called The Life of a Pothole, so we should know right away that the title is in the center and also at the top of the page. We can see that a photo is used. It's very important to notice the use of lines here, and also these numbers indicate that we are talking about a process in the life of a pothole. So you see up here how potholes form. So you can see that's really what it's about. And then when we get to the end of the process, we have another caption here describing how they're fixed. So we should understand the process, we should understand the beginning, and also the end is over here. Okay, let's move through. Right here we see the chemistry behind ice cream. This is a graphic text that you might find perhaps in a science, maybe a chemistry textbook. So we have the caption here that describes, it gives us context here. However, we can see that there is some sort of container, a cylinder here. We have a recipe over here in this caption box. Ice cream mixture, ice and salt mixture. We also have a ratio over here. And we have some diagrams. We have the molecules of salt and ice at the bottom, and we also have, we should understand that this graphic feature is a thermometer, and we have temperatures here. Also the arrows, we need to realize that heat is lost in this process that's being described. If you want, you can check out this this resource at, let me just double check where I got this from. This was from the DDSB Not sure what that is, but let me look at the full URL address. Hopefully, how I got there was I Google searched graphic text. Very simple. Okay, let's get this out of the way. What I want to show you now is the resource provided by the EQAO. So I'll go over here. Where you'll find this is in booklet 2 of the 2014-2015 resources. So this one I am going to walk through. This is the graphic text. As you can see, Canada's Forests is the title. We know that by the size and font used. You can see here that we have a bar graph. You can also see here that we have pie charts at the bottom, and also a caption and a picture. So we're talking about Ontario's forest industry. In order to save time, both for me now and for you on the test day, it might be wise just to scan the graphic text, but use the questions to guide your reading. And you only have to read as deeply as the question requires, or the questions, plural, require. So you can see here, they're drawing our attention. They're asking us, what word is closest in meaning to exporter, as used in the paragraph below the title? So that's going to guide our reading. Below the title, I'm going to read this paragraph. Canada is the world's leading exporter of softwood lumber, panels, pulp, and newsprint, and the third largest exporter of printing and writing paper. There's that word. So in that context, involved here, they're not saying that they're not talking about the fact that we invest money in those industries. They're not talking about the fact that we purchase those products. While we may be manufacturers, as an exporter, we are more of a distributor. So we distribute printing and writing paper to other places in the world. So the answer is C. Bar graphs. Why is a bar graph appropriate for the forest management data? It doesn't necessarily show decreasing size. You would find that, or changes over time. Those two things are referring to a line graph. You would see those things. Showing increasing importance doesn't show that directly. What a bar graph is showing in this case, specifically this bar graph, is a comparison between categories. This is the bar graph, and they're comparing the different provinces. So we see that we can compare the forest management in different provinces in this bar graph. Next question, how is Canada's forest management graph organized? I'm just going to double check Canada's forest management. That's the title. That's what we're talking about. And you can see that it is not organized by degree of success or production or changes over time. It's organized by geographic location. That's what we are meant to be comparing here, just by looking at the bottom axis, the x-axis of this graph. Okay, so now they're telling us to specifically read about British Columbia in 2008 and 2009. And what we can see here, first of all, they're, in comparison to the other provinces, British Columbia had a large area of forest burned in 2009, as large as the Northwest Territories did. So that's an interesting fact. There was a large forest fire, obviously, in British Columbia in 2009 that destroyed between 200 and 250,000 hectares of forest, which is far larger than any of the other provinces. We can also see that British Columbia tried to plant, or did plant, more than they harvested in 2008, which is a good thing to do. It's nice to renew that resource. So they did plant more than they harvested. However, the burning of their forest has created a large problem. Let's look at the question. So now that we've read British Columbia's information, let's see which one is true. Less area was burned than planted. We know that that's not true because more area was burned than any of the other things. More area was burned than planted. We know that that is true because the largest bar graph was the burning. It says here less area was planted than harvested. We know that that's not true. They planted more than they harvested. So by process of elimination, I'm just going to go through all of the options. I already know that G is the correct answer, but let's just make sure. More area was harvested than burned. That's not true because more area was burned than any of the other categories. So G is the correct answer here. Here, question number 5, and we're almost done the video. Stick with me. Question number 5, what is an accurate conclusion that can be drawn from the information in the pie charts? We see here that these pie charts, we see they're tracking revenue from the different sectors of the forest industry. So within the forest industry, you have these 3 sectors. Okay, you have forestry and logging. That's the primary industry. Those are the people who cut down the trees and take them out of the land. You have this light gray sector is called pulp and paper. So paper is one of the secondary, that's the secondary market. One of the things that is made from trees is pulp and paper, and also wood products. So things like lumber, for instance, the things we buy at Home Depot. Those are the 3 sectors of this industry. And we can see here that pulp and paper is far and away the largest sector of this industry. We can see that the second largest component of this industry is wood products, and we can see that the primary industry of forest and logging is the smallest industry within, or the smallest sector within this industry. Okay, so armed with that knowledge, let's take on the question. Accurate conclusion. This is a higher level question because they're asking us to work together or make inferences based on what the author tells us. So option number A, wood product manufacturing generated the largest percentage of revenue but the smallest percentage of wages. I know that this is incorrect because pulp and paper is the largest sector. Wood product manufacturing did not generate the largest revenue. Pulp and paper did. We also, here we see the largest percentage of wages came from pulp and paper product. That's true, even though that sector generated the smallest amount of revenue. That is not true. Pulp and paper generated the largest amount of revenue. So C is incorrect. D, the smallest amount of money was invested in forestry and logging in 2009. That's true. It is the smallest portion, the smallest sector. But even though that sector generated the largest amount of revenue, that's not true. It generated the smallest amount of revenue. It's the smallest sector. So by process of elimination, B is correct because all of these other ones are extremely incorrect. The percentage of revenue and those of wages and salaries from the major sectors are similar. So B is saying that as we compare revenue to salaries and wages, we should see that the percentages are roughly the same. 29, 33, I think we can say that that's similar. 11 compared to 12, that's similar. And 60 compared to 55%. So by process of elimination and by the fact that this is basically right, they are similar. We know that B is the correct answer. All right, and this is another inferencing question. When they ask you to make conclusions, they're asking you to work together with the author. The forest management of each region or province is unique. And when we look at this, we can see that there is a large variation between provinces. So I believe that's going to be the correct answer. I'm not going to finish up this question. You can do that on your own, and you can see if Mr. Corrigill was right or wrong. is F the correct answer. And that's it for the graphic text. Study hard, and I hope you do well. Keep viewing these videos, and also you're able to research on your own to find out what a graphic text is. So good luck.